Hey, what's up, y'all? Today is Tuesday, March 31st. I'm standing here at the Fårö Kyrka in Malmö, Sweden. Today's video, I'm going to bring you an update here on the coronavirus in Sweden. We're also going to discuss the concept of freedom, examine the concept of freedom through the lens of history, and see if we can apply anything that we learn into the future. All right. The coronavirus here in Sweden. Now, as you may or may not know, Sweden is an anomaly when it comes to this coronavirus. It's basically the only country in the West that hasn't imposed any kind of strict quarantines or taken any other really drastic measures to contain the virus. And initially I was quite concerned. I thought these people had lost their mind. After looking around at the rest of the world and all the draconian measures that have been taken to contain this, I've changed my attitude a little bit. I've also had an opportunity to listen to the head epidemiologist here. His name is Tegnell. At first I thought this guy had lost his mind. But after listening to him, he really strikes me as an expert that is supremely confident in his knowledge and his decision. And the guy, hey, right or wrong, I respect this guy because he has stuck to his guns. I mean, it's a one of a million person that's going to do this. Basically, the whole world is coming down on this guy, and he's still sticking to his guns. And, again, looking around at the rest of the world, we're still functioning here just fine. Okay, people are starting to get a little more concerned. The government has taken some new measures. Stockholm will probably be locked down, but for the most part, it's business as usual. And one of the things that this guy Tegnell is talking about is that, hey, there's not a, how would you say it? It's not a one-size-fits-all remedy to this. I mean, if you look at Sweden, it's much different than, say, Italy or the United States. And Sweden has about 10 million people. Italy has 60 million. The United States has about 350 million. Okay, now Stockholm, which is probably likely to have a lot more measures imposed on it. It's a relatively large city. I mean, it's got about 1 million inhabitants. The second largest city is Gothenburg. It's got about 600,000. Then you have Malmö, and that's 300,000, or a little more maybe. Now that's hardly a huge metropolis, and the demographics and that sort of and culture also plays a part. Now, I've discussed previously about how much trust the Swedes have in their government, and I've discussed how honest these people are. And one of the unique things about this is that you're seeing the government reciprocate trust back to the people. Now, that sounds like a novel concept, but that's really how it should be, and I respect that. That trust between the people and the government and the people, and just between the people themselves, that's really been the secret to the success of the socialist model that they have here. Now, it's been changing a bit in the past 10 to 15 years due to really about a left-wing government really going all in on this globalist model. So some of this trust is eroded recently. But right now, we're moving forward we're in the middle of a paradigm shift. We're moving forward into a whole new future, a whole new civilization. And that's why I'm standing here today, okay? Let's check it. One of the reasons that this place in Malmö is so special, the Fårö Kyrka, is because it's home to one of the only rune stones in Skåne, or one of the few rune stones in Skåne. And what this provides us is a perfect juxtaposition between this civilization and this civilization. And this area that I'm standing in right here, this will represent the threshold, okay, from moving from one civilization to another. And in case you haven't realized, We're in the year 2020. You can just go ahead and welcome yourself to the future right now. We're standing in this, right in between, just like I'm standing here between these two civilizations. We're standing on the threshold, not only just standing there, we've taken a giant step into it, okay? Just think about it. Right now, we're in the midst of a pandemic, okay? Number one. And I look at the exponential growth in technology. What's going to happen when AI goes live? That's right around the corner. That's completely unpredictable. Not only that, you have panopticon control systems, surveillance systems, you know, social credit scores. I mean, and that's just the beginning. Now let's look at the ecology. You know, climate change, everybody gets hysterical about. Not only that, mass movements of people. Border conflicts, wars that have the potential to really expand into something much greater. And, you know, not only that, let's look at the economy. I mean, there's oil wars, you know, the stock market crashing, people unemployed. So as we move forward into the future, I think it's very important for us to contemplate what freedom is and what freedom means. And where do we get our concept of freedom from? Hey y'all, I wanted to do a quick little addendum to this video. I just got off the road, just got back in from finishing a job, and I haven't had a chance to get this edited and put out. So, and there's been a lot of developments. Unfortunately, the tide has started to turn. We've seen a large increase in the numbers here in Sweden, both in infections and in deaths just over the past couple of days. And yeah, it seems that maybe Tegnell maybe miscalculated some. Maybe this dude is an ideologue full of hubris, gambling with people's lives. But I don't know, and it's still too early to tell. We got a long way to go. The jury's still out. Now, you know, hey, I really do think that the guy was onto something, and it could have worked. Unfortunately, you know, and we're in Sweden, and you know, nothing bad ever happens here. Okay, and you saw this nonchalant attitude with people from the beginning of this, and really the attitude was like, oh, nothing bad, it's not going to come here, nothing bad ever happens here, and it really doesn't. And even when it does, people have a tendency to turn a blind eye to it. But yeah, thinking about like bad things that have happened in Sweden previously, you really got to dig. I mean, there was a terror attack in 2017 in Stockholm. It's been about, it was in April, I believe. But yeah, 5 people died there, and that, you know, that was horrible, and that's a tragedy. But people, you know, 2 weeks, it's out of the news cycle, people forget about it. You know, prior to that, really the worst thing that's happened here in living memory is the tsunami that hit Thailand. I think it was 2005. I think there was 550 Swedes died in that, and a lot more were injured. It was horrible tragedy. But you know, that didn't even happen in Sweden. So yeah, you kind of had not everyone approached it like this, but most people did. And you know, hopefully now we won't start seeing these, you know, severe spikes in numbers. But anyway, that's where we're at with it. You know, we'll see where it heads. I mean, I've been out on the road, driving out on the freeway for hours, and I can tell you this: the trucking traffic, I mean, it's the same. I mean, there may be a slight decrease, but nothing that's really noticeable. People are still going out and still living their lives, and that's the good thing. So that's the good news. You know, I respect that, and it gives me it's inspiration. Man, people aren't letting this just, you know, just shut down their whole lives. They're going about their business, and hey, what fact of the matter is that if you try to keep a Swede inside, or any Scandinavian for that matter, but particularly the Swedes, I guess, in this instance, the other ones, Norwegians and the Danes, they're stuck inside pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it's dark winters here, man, and you know, you are vitamin D deficient. You want sunshine, and it works on your mood. And spring fever here, it's contagious. You can feel it. People are vibrant and want to get outside, and it's that time of year. It's one of the best times of the year here, and you know, so yeah, you're gonna have a hard time keeping people in. So hopefully these numbers they don't spike too bad, and we all get through this. I know it's hell all over the world in a lot of places, man. And but everybody hang in there, take care of one another, and stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to discuss the concept of freedom as viewed through the lens of history. All right, later.